Hotep, Shalom, Shalom, Peace, Black African Power. Welcome, Black family, to another installment of the Raising Awareness Group Blog Talk. Dawa, thank you for calling and joining us. Let me give you a brief synopsis of who and what we are about. We are a collective group of common goal. Black main direction is the homeschooling, truthful knowledge, and education of our Black family through a truthful center point of view. We affirm the teachings and writings of transition elders like Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Jolt, Empress Quest Welsing, Dr. Amos, Dr. John G. Jackson, and others. We shall not allow any misinformation and propaganda from white academia to be passed along our umbrella. We've taken the time to formulate an awesome introduction supplement of homeschooling for the children of the community. The supplement is available on our website. I need you to go to our YouTube channel that's named Raising Awareness Group Media. There you'll have access to the link to our website and past awesome blog talk shows with in-depth videos and lectures and tours from the likes of world travelers like Renoko Rashidi and one of our own members of the Elders Council, Grand Saber Infadishi. Again, for the link to our YouTube channel, Raising Awareness Media Group. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can find us easily there as well. We have a like page named Raising Awareness Group Media. So definitely go like our like page. It's brand new. We post on it daily. Now, quickly back to our homeschooling introduction. Our supplement is easy to visually digest and is tailored not only for the children but also for the family. We chose to make the supplement family-oriented. It is not just predicated for one entity. We at the Raising Awareness Group believe that the parents play the most crucial role in the early development of the children, of education of our children. That's in part why the supplement has activities for the parents to get involved as well. So please check that out, family, at ASAP. We also here at the Raising Awareness Group are in collaboration with our brothers in arms against any form of sexual dysfunction and deviant acts against men, boys, women, children, and babies. PM, that's the Straight Black Pride movement, in exposing the so-called secret, the attacks of un-African behavior towards non-blacks, or even what's going on amongst our people. We ask everyone to support our extended family with the SBPM, the Straight Black Pride movement as well. We also recommend our moral and methodology organization criteria for the adults. We at the Raising Awareness Group subscribe to Maat, which is the original African moral system. Yes, we know Maat has been chopped and screwed over time, but we have taken our people to understand have our people understand that the first world's moral system was an African moral system. Thanks to the University of Kemet Press, we strongly recommend all adults in the community to purchase some awesome literatures like SABA, Study Team, Survival Organization. Interested in homeschooling, we recommend African K-12 from the University of Kemet Press. If you're interested in reading the largest book ever to be written by an African scholar, I'd advise you to get African Time Volume 1. It is the first 1,000-plus authored book by an African scholar. This book also contains the most up-to-date in science, origins of humanity, astronomy, and up-to-date material from past master teachers, historical facts, and more. Any African history that's taught must be taught, spoken on, and illustrated by African historians only. This is an excellent quality and scholarly works that has hard-working brothers and sisters from the University of Kemet Press bringing this type of scholarship to our people. Also, these are the official books of the Raising Awareness Group, and we strongly recommend them for you. Update your library today, fam. Now, moving on with tonight's topic, talk is going around about the black woman. Their voices aren't being heard. That is absolutely not the case with the Raising Awareness Group. We are totally against any form of misogyny. We love to have our sisters be heard and will always offer the platform that we provide for them to be heard. We get inbox questions about guidelines on female conduct, morals, and overall position. Well, we're going to have on a very powerful, poetic, and heartfelt sister on to discuss those topics. And I just want to introduce the panel for tonight's show. I have my brother Akil, my brother Fred, myself, Brother Afrikanus, sadly, our brother K-Dub is out. Definitely need everybody to send him some good vibes. Wasn't doing good health-wise, but hopefully he bounces back very, very soon. We'll talk to him today. So definitely send our brother some good vibes, people. He's doing a little bit better, but just keep our brother in mind. So also, tonight we're going to have on our sister, Sister A'liyma Njie. She's the wife of our brother, Black Panther. Let me see. Is she on?
I'm here.
Hey, peace. How you doing?
Peace and love, brothers. How is everyone?
Well, awesome. Glad you made it.
Good. Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I am a little nervous, but other than that, I am well.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I know you said it's your first time, and just glad to have you on. It's just it feels good because we don't want anybody to think that in the so-called conscious community, Pan-African community, that a lot of the sisters with voices aren't heard, and it's just overall foolishness for people to think that sisters aren't heard, and by no means that's the case with us. So it's just wonderful that and of course we all know you. We all brothers with your husband. He's our brother, so you're our sister. Regardless. And we just see the awesome works that you put out, and you have some awesome poems that you put out, and we definitely want to get to that later. But we just wanted to have a sister's point of view, a good sister's point of view. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Also, let me just point out that the Raising Awareness Group, we're having our event next month in August. It's an awesome event. It's here in Philly, my hometown. We're going to be honoring the elders. We want everybody to come out. It's going to be an awesome event. We're going to have our Grand Savior there, Infodishi. The University of Kemet Press will be there, Takai Kilimanjaro. It's going to be right here in South Philly, 900 Packard Avenue at the Holiday Inn Stadium. So it's definitely going to be August 27th, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you need some tickets, you're definitely going to have to go to call 609-893-6867. Answer our info. Tickets are available, and we definitely want everybody to come out because we have to reconnect with our elders. That's just something that must be done. Solutions in our community, because the disconnect between the elders and the young adults has to be connected. We can't move forward unless we have the story, the history. A lot of our people don't have the guidance, so we have to reconnect with our elders, and that's what we're going to be doing that day. But let's move forward with tonight's show, and we'll talk more about that. But, sister, let's ask you a question. There's a lot of talk about issues between men and women, about gender roles. And we wanted to know, in your opinion, what is the definition of gender roles, and what does it exist in our community?
But in our community, I would have to say yes and no. Gender roles exist. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of single-parent households. And when you have a lot of single-parent households, a lot of times the mother has the children. So when we talk about gender roles, we may not always have the male and female party, in that situation. So if it's just the mother, then the mother can only play her part as the mother. She can't give that male side to her children. But now when we're talking about in society, and as far as black people are concerned, I think that we do have gender roles, and I think that gender roles are important because they help to establish a sense of balance. Because we have to understand that the brothers, they are the leaders, even though we ourselves are strong and have a voice as well. But we have to give the brother that respect as a man. so that his role in society or his role in the household or in the relationship is defined and he's not questioning himself. I hope I answered that correctly.
Sounded good to me. All right, sister, this is Brother Fred. Here's the next question. And this is going back to the gender roles and whatnot, and you talked about single-parent household, and a woman can only do what she can in her role. She can't really fulfill that role. But
right.
There are some women who may ask, what are the roles of the woman in the house and or community? Would it be based on the woman's ability or what? How would you put that out?
Well, I would say the woman's role in the household definitely is to support the husband and maintain the household. Of course, they're both supposed to do that, but maintain the household. And, because typically that's just what we do. That's our thing. Also, when it comes to support, what I mean by that is mentally and emotionally, because men need support too in that aspect. Gender roles in society. Women's gender roles in society is very important, especially when it comes to our younger sisters. We have to definitely be able to set a positive example. So that is very important. The sexualization of women now is out of control now, and women have a lot to do with that because we haven't set the precedent as women and we haven't carried ourselves at a level as women to where we would be respected the way that we demand to be respected. So I think that's very important as a woman's role in society. And also a woman's role in society, also she should be heard. She should speak her voice, whatever her voice may be, and she should definitely be heard. But also the woman's role in the household and in her relationship, aside from her supporting, her husband and being there, she also has to have a strong sense of, what's the word I'm trying to use? Morals. She has to have a good sense of morals and a good head on her shoulders in order to lead her husband in the right way, because we lead one another and we feed off one another. So in the household, if the household is going downhill, it might be because of the woman. A lot of times with the man, he feeds off us. So we have to have that good sense of morality and good head on our shoulders also as far as the household is concerned. I'm so nervous right now. I can't get my words out like I want to, so I'm sorry.
Well, we'll keep it going. Now, going back to that leader term that you have said, and I hear people say, and I hear some women take offense to, is it true that leadership or leading does not mean controlling?
Yeah, I don't think to be led means that you're being controlled, because you're still able to do what it is that you want to do. But when someone leads you and they can lead you in a positive way and in a good light, that's always a good thing, because that's going to be for the betterment of you. So if you have a man that can lead you in the right direction and can help you keep a good head on your shoulders and make you just be nothing but a better woman, that's a great thing. That should be embraced. That shouldn't be looked at as controlling. You can tell the difference when you're being led and when you're being controlled. When you're being led, you still have free reign. They're just showing you a better way, and if you follow, then that's always good.
Okay. Now, in the community, there's been a lot of demise in the community, the disintegration of the family, and there's a lot of blame going around. Why are men and women placing blame on each other and not the elements affecting the household?
Well, I think that goes back to your train of thought, number one, because you have to be able to understand that we've been systematically destroyed. Our families have been systematically ruined. Therefore, our relationships with one another, due to those things, have been tainted. They have been tarnished. So we are all broken, brothers and sisters. You know, we shouldn't be blaming each other. What we need to do is build each other up, because we need each other. You know, that's really the bottom line. We need each other in order for us to get to the place where we need to be. We are all broken. We shouldn't blame one another. We have to understand. And see, that goes back to knowing your history. Because if you don't know your history and you don't know how we got to a place where we hate each other so much now, then you won't know how to fix it and you won't understand it. So they're always going to stem back to what we know.
Based on that, we all are struggling, we all are hurt, we all are damaged. And it seems as if neither the man can see that in the woman nor the woman can see that in the man. Right. Why is that?
A lot of that has to do with, to be honest, I think we don't want to see it. I think that we really just expect one another to be perfect, and we just expect one another to get certain things, or why doesn't he understand this about me, or what doesn't he get that? You know, we're all still trying to figure this thing out, bottom line, and that's the problem. That is the problem. We don't want to see it, because I don't understand how we don't understand why we are in the condition that we're in. It has to be that we literally don't want to see it. It can't be that we don't see it.
You know, that's a good question, sister. I mean, a good answer that she just said. And again, with the Raising Awareness Group, we're talking to our sister, A'liyma Njie. We're talking about womanhood in our community. I'm sorry, I said it earlier wrong. I said it right. I said A'liyma, sister A'liyma Njie. But you know what? And if you got a question, just press 1. You'll light up on our dashboard. We'll put you on. There's a lot of callers I see. Thank you for everybody that's chimed in. You know, I think there's just absurd expectations on both sides, men and women. Just absurd. Meaning we're striving for perfection, when I think we get away from what's perfect for you.
Right.
There's too much of this, you know, I want the perfect man, I want the perfect woman. She has to look like this, dress like this, smell like this, walk like this, talk like this, act like this. And it's a vice versa with the woman. He has to make X amount of money. He has to do this. His body has to be like this. He has to walk and talk and act like this. He has to be educated in this manner for me to be – and that is – I just think there's absurd demands on both sides. And when there's fault to be laid, no one, the ego kicks in when you have absurd beliefs like that. And when you have those absurd beliefs –
what is wrong – I'm going to speak from a sister's standpoint and ask my sisters, what is wrong with loving a damaged man? What is wrong with repairing someone on the basis of because you love them and you see their drive? My mother always said, you don't take any man, you take a willing man. If that man is willing to change, you see him doing what he needs to do, then you rock with him. And if you have to pick up that slack sometime when he falls short, then so be it. Because it's what you see in him. It's like we need a man. He's already has to have a certain amount of money. He already has to have a certain type of job. He has to have a certain type of car. But come on, sis. Society has beat our brothers down to the core. A lot of them have felonies. They can't get jobs, but they trying. Is that not good enough? You may have to help repair that man. But what's wrong with that?
Good point. Very good point. Wait, hold on. Oh, we're going to take a caller? You want to take a caller? Go ahead. If you want to, go ahead. Caller 407, you're live with the Raising Awareness Group.
Hey, this is
Hey, good evening. Who?
How are you? Yeah.
How are you? Who's this?
I am well. Hey, sis, A'liyma.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. I actually am calling because I really appreciate the things that you're saying and the questions that you're asking. And baby sister hit a lot of points on the head. the fact is that we are damaged, right? Because of all the systematic, integration, disintegration, and all of that. But in order for us to repair ourselves, it's just not relying on the fact that I love you and I can build you up. Because you can see the God in someone, but if they don't see it, then you run into situations. So how we combat that is we deprogram ourselves and then reprogram ourselves to the need of where we are at right now. Because you have to align yourself with people who are going in your direction. And yes, a lot of our brothers and sisters are broken on both sides. But what we lack is understanding, because the word expect rather than accept is the two things that separate us. We are expecting someone to be, that king. You've been through this, you're conscious, but you forget the fact that when someone is damaged, if you haven't repaired it, you're only, perpetuating cycle. If we don't get to the root causes of our issues, we will forever be separated as man, woman. It is that in our roles aren't only to, feed the kids. You go out and get the bread, and then I feed the kids, and then we meet in the middle. Our roles have to be deciphered for what they originally were. Because originally the role was protect her so she can do her work. And her role was to make sure that he was nourished well so he can protect her. And to educate the nation so that they can carry on the word. So
sister,
roles. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no. As we say in the Raising, and listen, I like it. No, listen, we love this. We want the sisters. We're giving the sisters tonight the platform, the event, to sound off and say what you want to say.
I love to hear Carla talk. Carla can talk all night.
This is the issue that we need to resolve in our community. But providing food, clothes, shelter has always been humanity's gender roles for man. We have always provided food, clothes, shelter, protection. We should, and I think we've kind of gotten away with that because there's been a power struggle amongst us. Whereas the woman became more of the worker in corporate America and manufacturing America, and she started paying the bills and doing this and that with the money and having to provide the food, clothes, shelter because the man was forcefully removed out the house, and some of us started removing ourselves out the house willingly, and now some of the women that put us out the house. So, it's just a triple effect of what's going on. So we got to get our asses back in the house. You know what I'm saying? But, that's another point, but I just wanted to get that out there. Food, clothes, and shelter has always been the mainstay of what the man is supposed to do.
Right.
Exactly. And one of the things that we also have to remember when we are defining roles, the sister hit it on the head. Again, we're continually talking about what someone else has rather than what we can build. Because my mate, when I met him, had no idea of what his roles truly was. He knew that, I'm conscious, I know this, I know that. However, no one had ever said, okay, well, I don't have to tell you, I'm going to show you. Like you said, that power struggle thing there. And it is up to us as nurturers and as we're the builders, right? So basically, it's up to us to guide. We talk about leading, but we also have to guide. You have to allow men in their manhood to lead, but there's nothing wrong with us guiding them.
That's right.
Okay.
Let me ask a question here, and let me ask a question and I got both of you sisters on the line. And area code 216, you'll be next. Just stick in just a couple minutes. We'll put you right on. Area code 216, you're next. And this is a question that a lot of us men are maybe a little apprehensive to ask, and we don't want to come off as misogynist. We don't want to come off as phobic, or even just to add more fuel to the fire. But this is a sensitive topic. And I want a straight answer to this question, if you can, to the best of your ability. A lot of black men, why does it appear that black women are the biggest advocates for homosexuality, the LGBT community, and will go against movements like the SVPM, the Straight Black Pride.
I was waiting for this question. Okay, well, this is my take on it. And the bottom line is the sisterhood is lacking, so the sisters are clinging on to the homosexuals. I'm going to say it again. The sisterhood is so done that sisters need companionship, and because the homosexual black man acts so much like the black woman, she is comfortable being around him. And for the sake of needing that feminine energy somewhat, and any means that they can get it, instead of repairing that sisterhood, they would prefer to just hang with homosexual males. That's what it boils down to, because sisters can't get along. We just simply can't get along. And since we can't get along, we say, oh, sisters is drama, so we just go and hang with the homosexuals. They feel comfortable hanging with them. And when it comes to them supporting the LGBT world, I mean, that's all inclusive, because those are their homies. That's their girlfriends. That's who they shop with. That's who they kick it with. That's who they tell their stories to. And I think that's what it boils down to. They don't even really look at them as anything else than one of their friends. And that all stems from the lack of sisterhood.
Wow, that is powerful. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Never heard that.
Sister? What is your name again, sister?
This is Yeye. Now, okay, so my take is a little different, only because my experience spans almost four decades here, okay? And originally, growing up, homosexuality for me was something that was taboo. Everybody knew someone down the line that was a little sweet or had a little sugar, right?
Mm-hmm.
As it is that, a lot of, and I'm going to blame this on a lot of religious folks, and coming around talking about how, God accepts everyone in contradiction to their own teaching. My experience have been that over the years, what I have seen is, while it is that African, us as black people, right, as we go ahead and systematically integrate within the system who's always flushed us out, they use us to confuse us. Because we'll always have empathy for our own. We'll always have empathy for cousin Ray Ray. Oh, he's just a little sugary. You're being too hard on him. We'll have empathy to the point where we destroy them. Okay?
But you know what? You know what else it is, though?
Go ahead.
Sis, you know what else it is? The church is another biggest contributor to the reason why black women are biggest supporters of the homosexual movement, because a lot of black women are very religious, and the church accepts homosexuality, so they don't see nothing wrong with it. And like, God forgives, so I forgive.
And that's one of the things that I want to make sure and highlight. The fact is, when it is that government says and it pushes it on us, we are so accepting of it. The church is the catalyst, because they were the ones who originally would say no. Now, because it is that the bigger congregations are accepting it, some of them are hellified having, gay pastors and whatever, and our parents and our aunties and everyone around us, we watch all of the little reality TV shows where it glorifies it. So now we've let our guard down. We're like, you know what, everybody just let them live as they want to live. And, I'm not judged. We don't want to be judgmental. We would rather, right, go against our core beliefs than be conceived or preconceived as being judgmental. Well, hell, if we're not judgmental, we do not have that barrier between right and wrong.
Exactly. That's African culture, judgment. So I don't know where they get that from anyway.
This is a natural and biological fact that it is against nature and biology.
Exactly.
If you want, but then when somebody attaches a higher power to it, well, God forgive. Who am I to judge? Who am I to that? Who am I to this? We take away our own power, and then we, to our children, they're saying, well, you know, if mama says it's okay, well, you know, and then we do this thing where we also tell our children, be yourself. Be yourself. Well, if they don't understand self, how can they be a self that is being perpetuated on them on a daily basis? And just because they are our children and we gave birth to them, we are accepting of it. Black women use that matriarchal ability to engage in a lot of loving. Oh, I'm going to love you when nobody else loves you.
You know, hold on. Let me get this other caller on. Just hold on, sister. Let me get this area code. Area code 216. Area code 216. You're live with the Raising Awareness Group. We'll put your sister back on. Just we're going to go to 216 real fast.
Okay, greetings. You all are saying some really good points, and it's real good to hear this.
Hey, sis.
What's your name, sister?
Greetings.
Where are you calling from?
My name is Nia, and I'm calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, hey, how you doing, sister Nia?
Okay, how you all doing?
Hello.
Well.
Good.
That's good. I think that's a good point that the sister made about the church and placating that, because a lot of the sisters don't get along, and then you see someone else like them, the homosexuals, and you know, and then it does like a snowball effect. Your children see you accepting it. Oh, it's okay. Mom is happy and mom is cool with them. But I just want to rewind when you all were talking about our issues that we have between our, you know, male and female relationships. And one thing, I'm trying to clean and listen too. But one thing, you know, a lot of times sisters, like say a brother, you know, he had gotten with a previous sister, and she might have been a little low on the totem pole mentally with things and scorned him, and he was a good man, you know, hard worker, things in that sort. And then when she kind of abuses the relationship, then when he moves on and meet another sister that's, you know, decent, conscious, aware, you know, a lot of times that sister get the what is the word? They get the rebuttal or the anger and the issues from that brother that was scorned, you know, because she tricked him and getting child support and, you know, not letting him see the child. And so that good, so a lot of things like that is brought into the relationship and not mentioned about. And I always say, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was about to ask you a question. And what do you think about this is infidelity? We have a lot of infidelity issues in our relationships as black man and woman. You know, we don't talk about it a lot for whatever reason, but it's almost become an acceptable thing. Now we got this whole side chick thing, and that's an acceptable thing.
Right.
Infidelity, we don't trust each other anymore. So even when we get in new relationships, we love them, but we just don't trust them completely because we've been cheated on so much, and that's on both sides, men and women. Just we have this infidelity issues out the wazoo.
Right, and you know what? A lot of times, I was talking to another sister, a lot of times that comes from, again, back during the slave trade when they made it our men. You know, so some of that stuff is coming down through the cell memory. And, you know, I mean, these are just things, like you say, we need to start talking about these issues. I know they're sensitive. Like, for instance, and, you know, I have a friend, and, you know, she's going through divorce right now and things like that. But, and, you know, they've had to move multiple times. She's had to go back to her mom's house and things in that sort. Now, I'm just saying, I'm looking in, and, you know, you don't want to say too much because you don't want to get involved, but I'm looking in, and I'm like, you know, if I can recognize 3 years ago that she needs to get out and get a job, I know it's great to be at home, and I don't mean get a job. I'm just talking fast off my head, but, you know, do something to contribute to the household. You know, and now they're breaking up, and she's, you know, fussing. Well, you know, I'm tired of moving. He lie, and we got to move, and we you know, we're moving 3 and 4 times in a year, and you know, I have the 3 children, you know, and I'm just saying that why can't we just look at the situation? It would be nice for a lot of us to do like our grandparents used to do, stay at home, homeschool, and, cook delicious meals and things and that sort. But in today's time, when sisters see that their man, their mate, and he can't speak up, not that he can't, but it's just, sometimes an ego issue, which is not good. But I'm just saying we need to look at all areas. And I really hate that my friend is breaking up with her, breaking the family up. But, we have to look at what we've done, too. You knew this man couldn't support all of you all plus 3 children. I mean, somewhere you saw that his check wasn't meeting the means. So instead of, trying to live above, like, well, you know what, babe, I know I like, and she homeschooled and all of that, but I'm just saying you still have to say, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start, making my products and selling them or selling some meals or something to help the brother rather than now, he's a liar and, and all this. And I'm like, I'm scratching my head like, yeah, but, didn't you? I'm sure you saw the brother's check and saw, you see what I'm saying? So I think we need to start really having these sensitive topics, when things are, you vibing with them, but you're not clicking. So maybe deal with the issue. Hey, I think you still hurt by your previous, queen you were with. Because she might have did some things to you. I'm different. I think we need to just start opening up these conversations. So that's what I just wanted to say. So.
Okay, based on that, sister, we have a lot of strong and self-proclaimed successful sisters out here. And you hear the question, why they're strong, self-proclaimed, successful, and whatnot, why are most or many single?
Standards too high.
Yeah, the standards are too high. That's what I think.
I think they want, like that touches on what we were talking about earlier.
And that goes back to my point that I just made, that both sides have absurd levels of standards that they want met. They are just absurd.
On the part of the black woman, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that black women, especially nowadays, sisters got it going on. Like, they're very successful. They're graduating, like, in higher rates above everybody. Right, exactly. So they're really doing it. So sisters are at a level now where they're like, look, if you don't have what I got at the least, then I'm not interested. That's the mentality now.
Wow.
And a lot of that, I think it does come from television and these reality shows, and they see these women and they're with these guys and they got all this money and, or they're just not with anybody and they just bed hopping and doing their thing and they got this money and they look up to these chicks. They look up to the Real Housewives. I mean, I'm not going to front like I don't watch it sometimes. Sometimes I need my dose of ratchet. So I get my dose of ratchet, but at the end of the day, I don't look up to these women. But a lot of women do.
We're the Raising Awareness Group. We're talking about womanhood. We're the Raising Awareness Group. We're talking about womanhood. If you chime in with it, just press 1. That'll put you blue in the box, and we'll put you right on if you have that question to ask. Also, let's talk about our event that we're having this August 27th, right here in Philadelphia. We connected with the elders at the Holiday Inn Stadium. We're having our elder, A'liyma Njie from the University of Kemet Press, and we're having our Grand Saber Infodishi coming down. It's going to be an awesome event honoring the elders, Principles of Maat in the African Community. Just come on out. It starts at 1 o'clock. It's over at 7 o'clock. We have to reconnect with our elders, and we really want people to get involved. For the information number, just call 609-893-6867. You know what? Let's take another call. Let's go ahead, because I see it's hot, and the lights are coming on. We'll go to area code 510. You're live with the Raising Awareness Group.
Hi, everybody. This is Sherry calling from Georgia.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Sherry?
All right. It's been a while since I've been able to chime in, but I felt I needed to chime in and say what I needed to say.
Go ahead.
I agree with what the sister said earlier, but I have to take it back even further. And what I'm going to say will lead the way to what's happening now. Well, I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in a low-income neighborhood, and back then, some families had both the mother and the father in the household to raise the kids. I was, unfortunately, my father was not around much, but my mother did what she could. During the years as I was growing up, I've seen a change in the neighborhood. The change being that in order for a family to move into the neighborhood, the father could not be in the household. This was the start of the breakup of the black family.
Yes.
As the years went by, the feminist movement came in. Mm-hmm. The feminist movement was to the point where women wanted to not stay in the house anymore. They wanted to go out and make some money of their own. And that initially was started to be for the white families, for the white households, but the black women seeing the other going out and what they in turn started to do that for themselves, claiming feminism, and this in turn eventually led to what we see now is where a black woman proclaiming that I don't need a man. And there's a lot of events over the years that other events that help keep the man outside of the family. And part of that, because the man was no longer in the family, kids were growing up not knowing the communication, the connection between a husband and wife. They lacked that. So as they got older and started dating, they didn't know what type of man to choose for themselves. The men didn't know how to treat a woman because they never saw that within their household. So that's part of the issue as well.
I agree.
Wow. Okay.
Those standards still apply today, in a lot of households, income-based or low-income. They still apply. You cannot have that man in the house if he has certain things on his record or, if he's done certain things. You cannot. It's still that way.
And it went from generation to generation. It started in the late 60s.
Yes, ma'am.
And continued on. And as it continued on with each generation, it got worse.
Yes.
Wow.
I agree. I was going to touch on that, but she got it.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, P.
Now,
thank y'all for bringing me to this question. This is a kid.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's a kid. Thank y'all for bringing me to this question right here. So, what would y'all say the difference is between feminism and womanism?
I think feminism is an attitude that I don't need a man to define me. In a lot of cases, I don't want a man.
Exactly.
I think that in a nutshell, that's what feminism is. And womanism is understanding your role and your place as a woman and being content in that role, in that place. And understanding that women need men for balance and men need women. There is no such thing as I don't need a man. I think that's one of the most absolutely ridiculous things I've ever heard, is I don't need a man. Yes, you do, sis.
It's not just
you really do.
Selfish.
Yes, very selfish.
Wow. Now, there are a lot of women, a lot of people, men and women coming from broken homes. And there are many aspects that may not get passed along. And sometimes we have to basically go to literature sometimes. Are there any, let's say, books that a young black woman come into into this stage of life that she should read, or what other sources can a young black woman go to learn about womanhood?
Well, my go-to is always Queen Afua, Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity. That is a really, really good book.
Could you say that again? Queen by what?
Queen Afua.
Queen
Heal
Afua.
Thyself, AFUA. Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity. That's a really good book. It's easy to read. She gives a lot of tips on the body, natural ways of eating, doing your hair, tips on being a better woman, tips on self-improvement, self-esteem. It's a really, really good book. And I'm not sure if they are familiar with her sisters, but if you aren't, you should check out some of her work because it's very inspirational. And I think it's a good tool for any woman of any age, but definitely a good starter tool for young sisters.
Okay, could you repeat that one more time and spell it slowly so our listeners could take note on that?
Okay, that's Queen Afua, A-F, as in Frank, U-A, Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity.
Okay, I hope our listeners got that. Now, you got the older sister on the line from Georgia. Are you still there?
Oh,
I guess she left. Okay. Now, you spoke about the book, the literature. All right, the other question is, what are the three, say, basic elements an African-considered black woman should remove to improve herself?
That she should remove. Definitely negative thoughts about brothers. Even though sisters may think that has nothing to do with their own self-improvement, but it does because we need each other for balance purposes, as I mentioned before. So negative thoughts about brothers, you have to remove those thoughts because you'll never be able to you won't find that essence of a woman that you are. And I'm not saying that you won't find yourself, but when a woman finds a man and a man finds a woman, it's just something about that. It's fulfilling. And if you have those type of thoughts in your mind, like a lot of our sisters do now, I don't need a man, whatever, then you'll be missing on that aspect of yourself. You won't be completely fulfilled. Another thing we should remove. We should remove the way we view ourselves, that we need to love ourselves. And, if the sisters want to wear the weave, that's fine. But sis, you don't need it. There's nothing wrong with your hair. Your hair is beautiful. You don't have to put on a ton of makeup every day. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be half naked on the gram so you can get likes. You don't have to do that, sis. Love yourself. Like, we have to remove this need for attention. Black women have this desperate need for attention, but a lot of that stems from our broken families. Either we didn't have our mom in our life, or we didn't have our dad, or we didn't have both. So we're seeking to be loved. Black women want to be loved so bad that we're seeking that attention from total strangers. And we have to get rid of that. Thirdly, what we need to get rid of, and some sisters may be upset at me about, but it's religion. That religion is driving a lot of sisters crazy. They are so wound up by, Allah said I can't do this, or God said I can't do that. I know sisters that haven't had a man in years. God hasn't sent me a man, so I'm waiting on God. We got to get rid of that.
Well, now, wait.
That is just too much.
I hope the sisters listen and say that again. Stop waiting on. Stop replacing the black man with Jesus.
On God. Stop waiting on God. He's not going to send you a man.
Whoa. You got a lot of sisters out here who are happily married to Jesus. How about that?
They married to Jesus? Oh, yeah, they love Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I don't need a man, honey. I got Jesus. I'm like, is he screwing you at night? Because that's a sick relationship. Because I'm trying to figure out how do they take care of that. Don't you want a man, sis? Like, all you want is religion? Like, that's enough for you? That's fulfilling for you? I can't do it. I think sisters have to get rid of that. Religion is killing sisters. They expect brothers to be a certain type of way. They won't deal with brothers if he's not the same religion as them, and it's just too much. We're pushing each other away because of religion.
Wow. That knocked out one of the other questions we were going to ask about the psychological and the emotional damage of religion. All right, I had asked you about the 3 things that black women should remove to better themselves. What are the top 3 qualities African-descended women should have?
Well, I think all African women should be righteous. You know, we all know what being righteous means, a good woman of good moral standing. We have to set better examples for our younger sisters, because I see younger girls who are 10 and 11 and 12, and they're looking up to the stripper society of the world and to the housewives society of the world, and we're not setting them good enough examples for them to follow. So we have to be righteous in all of our actions. Another quality that we need is discipline, and that comes in on a lot of different levels. I still need to work on a little bit on discipline, and definitely when it comes to our men. Now, I know they're going to try to say that I'm trying to say they should be submissive, and that's not the same thing. What I mean is by discipline is we have become so volatile, and I was a lot like that, but I had to change. But we are very mean, you know, when it comes to our men, and even about the relationships that we're in. You know, we can be downright nasty, and sisters have to be a little more disciplined in our emotions. We have to handle our emotions a little bit better, and even disciplined in the way we carry ourselves also. That also is intertwined. Third quality a black woman should have. She should definitely have spirituality. Not religion, spirituality. Because spirituality will help to keep her grounded. It will help her to keep her children strong and grounded, to teach them the right way. And it will also help her in her relationship with her husband or, you know, her spouse. So they need spirituality also.
All right, for the sisters who are just chiming in, and you mentioned spirituality. Now, I know what it is. A lot of women who are out there don't know what it is. What's the difference between spirituality and religion?
In religion, you are being led by an outside entity, and you do what that entity says you should or shouldn't do. It's a control mechanism. You know, either you do this or you're going to hell. Either you eat this or you're going to hell. You know, it's just too many rules. Spirituality is about connecting with your own essence, which is with nature, and connecting with the universe. That's spirituality. It's finding who you are. Spirituality, in a sense, you know, it leads you. Not, there isn't a person or deity that's leading you. It's just a basis of guidelines that helps you so you can live and do things the right way, righteously.
Now, earlier we had we brought in Carla. They called in earlier. Probably want to bring her back in.
Okay.
Carla, are you there?
Yes, I definitely am.
Hi, sis.
Hey, back. You know, as far as you're exactly right, is that we, as the indigenous people of this planet, we don't even have a definition for spirituality because
you can't really define it.
You are, you know, we are interconnected and we work in synergy with everything that is natural and, you know, from creation. And religion, it forces us to be artificial people. We have artificial language. We have an artificial intelligence. We have an artificial mannerism. And what it does is separates us from the natural or the norm. So we can never be natural in order to love, in order to build, and in order to create anything outside of ourselves. Because we are always looking for someone to say, hey, sis, if you want this, you just pray and wait rather than manifest. In spirituality, we manifest. You know, in religion, we sit, we pray, and we wait. And if it doesn't
it's so
happen,
funny, sis, when you said religion makes you be a different person. Religion makes people be hypocrites. Let me say it again. Religion forces people to be hypocrites Because what you do is you feel like, okay, I'm going to send whatever they call it, and I'm going to do what God says don't do, and then I'm going to go to church on Sunday and ask for repentance. So then I'm good.
Because, and in addition to that, there's no accountability. We don't have to be responsible for our own actions. So when we behave badly, we blame it on an entity. And that entity has taken, the demons have took over. And he's acting that way because the demon took over rather than my selfish behavior, my lack of commitment, my lack of responsibility. That's why he's acting the way that he is. And that's why I can't get a man. You know? So we allow ourselves to fall into this trap of, let me hand it over to God. God woke me up this morning.
He gonna work it out.
Of, you know, if I didn't get a raise from work, well, God didn't intend for me to get a raise from work. It wasn't that, you know, I didn't do my best. It wasn't that I don't need this job. I need to go create my own. So we have religion to make sure that we stay managed, because all it is there to manage us.
That's right.
It's not there to build us. It's not there to help us manifest anything positive. It is there to manage us and control us in the way that the powers that be can just snap their fingers 2 times. Because since I've been on this planet, right, I have heard through the grapevine that Jesus was coming back in 1978, in 1989, in 1999, 2000, 2012. These were all the times that we believed that Jesus was coming back, right? We're still here. So I'm saying that when it comes, and it goes for all religion. I'm just saying Christianity, but I really, you know, I feel that way across the board, because it takes us away from our natural abilities, our natural instinct to manifest everything that we need. We are not able to use God within to create that which is without. So we go to religion to, you know, back us up and say, well, it didn't happen because God ain't ready for it. I don't got a man because that God is waiting for, or I'm waiting for. And in the meantime, you're frustrated, you're angry, you have no outlet, you have no support, you don't have anybody at night to rub your feet and tell you it's okay. And when you put on those 10 or 15 pounds, tell you, baby, I love those little love handles you have. Jesus can't do that. He can't even contain his own self. So I'm just saying, you know, when it comes to spirituality, we really need to learn the definition from within. Spirituality is learning self. Religion is learning its indoctrination. Period.
Exactly.
You know what? Let me ask you a quick question. And again, we're the Raising Awareness group. We're talking about womanhood. If you want to ask a question, just press 1. We'll put you right on. You know what? Let me just, and you know, this question it's from a man's point of view. Regardless of it being African culture, I know there's, you know, some debate about that. Is it African culture or whatever? But in speaking on polygamy, when we're talking about polygamy, what are your views on it? And for the social structure in America, would it be feasible for Black African women and men here in America?
Polygamy. Oh, this is a touchy topic. So, polygamy in its creation was intended to build the nation. So it was intended to procreate. So if we were to have polygamy here in America, then it should only be for the basis of procreation. But the issues are, number one, it's not legal here, so you would have to be careful with that. But number two, is that the real reason that brothers would want polygamy? Because in my opinion, from what I see and hear, the reason that brothers want polygamy is basically so they can have more than one woman. I don't think they understand the concept of polygamy, which is to have babies, basically. I mean, yes, it is to build and to be together, but the point is to have babies and lots of them. So if that's not your plan, then why are you interested? And secondly, how many brothers in America can take care of more than one woman in a household full of babies? I mean, realistically, that's not a shot. Realistically, how many can provide for more than one woman? Can you imagine having 5 wives and they have 4 kids? How are you going to provide? What type of job do you have, brother? You got to be boiling in order to afford that. And how many brothers you know that's boiling? I don't know many. And the ones I know, they don't want a household full of babies eating up that money. So can you afford it? And that's how sisters would be looking at it. Okay, you want me to be down with polygamy, but can you take care of me? And the question is, that question 9 times out of 10 is no, you cannot. So I think it's more so of a fantasy than a realistic thing. I don't think that's something that would be feasible here because we live in a overly sexualized culture. So number one, for a brother to even be faithful to one woman is hard. So even him having a whole bunch of women is still not going to necessarily fulfill his wiles if he's that type of man. And it's hard enough as it is in this society with all these type of women that are running around. So I don't think it's feasible here.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because let me just say this, because if marriage isn't the ultimate goal for a relationship, there's no need to be even try to attempt to be in one. The ultimate goal for any relationship is marriage. You have to think one-on-one marriage first. You know, too much of this. I got 2 girlfriends, or I got a girlfriend, and I got a wife and a girlfriend on the side. You know, we got to solidify that one relationship first. That's all. Go ahead, sister.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually was going to say this. Now, when it comes to polygamy, because I've known a lot of people who have been in polygamous relationship, and this is my take on it.
You sound like a sister from the island, so I would assume you do.
I am, and I know a few people here in Florida where I live that they are actually living that, and it's balanced because the thing about polygamy and any that is nation building, everyone has to understand the defined roles. Because I personally wouldn't engage in it at this stage of my life only because I've raised my children, and the only way that I could be a benefit to a polygamous relationship is to guide a younger sister. Because a lot of brothers are under the impression that he is the one who chooses his sister wives.
And he does not.
The case. The first wife picks a wife that can be able to help her sustain a household. That otherwise
she picks them all.
Picks them all.
That's right.
And the fact is that polygamy isn't just about sex, which a lot of our young brothers think that, they're beating their chest saying, I can have 2 women, 2 this, 2 that. But it comes along with you have to be thinking on a higher level rather than how we think lower level. You have to be looking to attain ascension. And in attaining that means that you're not even dealing with sex. Because one woman could already come to the union with 3 children. Your job is to teach the sons how to be men and teach daughters how to look up to a man. So you're not going into a relationship to have a personal relationship with this wife here and then having another personal relationship with this wife here and then have another personal. No. It is all
and the way it is the personal relationship is with the first wife. The other wives are literally there for procreation. They are not there on the basis of being one with this man. That is not how that works. And aside from that, hold on, sis, real quick, let me get this out before I forget. When I started out, we were in Islam. We were in Islam, and then we kind of went to the Nuwapians. So I lived with Dr. York for a couple years. So when the Nuwapians try to come at me with all that, I don't want to hear it. I know about Dr. York, but that's another subject. But what I'm trying to say is my father had 2 wives. He had 2 wives. And when I got older, I asked him why didn't those relationships work. 2 reasons he gave me. He couldn't afford it, and the sisters couldn't get along. So the sisters have to be some really strong, level-headed, minded sisters in order to even get into this. You can't be on nothing petty because you can't be mad because, I wanted him to be with me tonight and he's with her. too many of our sisters, we couldn't handle that. We're not that mature for polygamy. We have to understand that. We don't have the maturity. That takes a lot of maturity. I can say that I couldn't handle that. Not at this stage.
I don't think the men or
you
women,
know what I mean?
Men or women.
Right, not exactly. Like, I couldn't deal with it. Me personally, I'm too jealous. I'm too jealous, and I can honestly say that. I couldn't do that. So that takes a strong type of person anyway.
Yeah, there are women that can concede to it, but really and truly, we are not built that way. We all
we're not.
We have a twin flame. In order for it to ignite, we have to find that person that it's almost systematic. You create balance when you meet that person. This is why we go through so many partners to find that one. But those are just getting our lower selves to fall off so we can ascend to our higher self. There's nothing wrong with getting into a relationship that doesn't work. It just means that that person wasn't right for you. So just consider the fact that you are in a relationship with your husband and his other 3 wives, because that's what it is. You will have to be in a relationship with everybody. So it's not that, oh, he's mad at her tonight, so, you know, he's going to come hang with me. No, if he's mad at her, all y'all mad at him.
Exactly.
You know, we're not built that way. Because
we're not.
There is that natural action that we want to ignite that other twin flame. And that way we don't look anymore. We're done looking because we found it.
Exactly.
The only reason we continually look, even when we're in a relationship, because we haven't found that spark yet.
Right. And you know what? Before I forget, any sisters that try to use that reason, oh, well, if he's into polygamy, then he should be into polyandry. Sis, let it go. A man cannot give you, first of all, he can't give you with so many kids, number one. And number two, what would be your benefit of having multiple husbands? You can only have one baby every 9 months. Like, it doesn't even make sense. That's retarded. I just had to get that out there. Because the feminist chicks like to use that, and that's ridiculous.
That's just the feministic, woman hear me war, slut-talking type of ideology that's the typical comeback from these black feminists that's actually initiated from white feminists to counteract. Basically, that's their counterpunch to polygamy. Well, why can't I have two?
Exactly.
It would be so. You want two dinglings going in you rent every other day? That's what you want? That's it. Sister, come on, sis, stop it. But again, we're the Raising Awareness. Go ahead, hold on. We're the Raising Awareness group. We're talking about womanism in our community. We got Sister A'liyma on. If you're listening in, just press 1. If you have a question to ask. Let me ask you this, though. And here at the Raising Awareness group, University of Kemet Press their books are a library, and sayings, we always say, teach the children. Teach the children. We constantly say that. Teach the children. As a woman, what jewels of knowledge would you pass along to an up-and-coming sister, a young sister, your daughter, your niece, a young family member? What jewels of knowledge would you give her in her development of womanhood?
First and foremost, she definitely needs to know her history and know herself. That's first and foremost. So the good thing about the sisters that are coming up now is that they won't have to experience a lot of things that we've experienced because we know better and we can teach them better. We definitely need to teach them to respect themselves and how to handle themselves like a lady, because we don't want them to be looking up to the wrong type of sisters. We need to teach them definitely how to cook, teach them about their hygiene, teach them how to keep up house, certain things like that wasn't brought down a lot, even with my generation, that we just wasn't even taught. Things of that nature of how to be a woman, that's what they need to know, and how to respect themselves and carry themselves.
Right. And I definitely want to say this, right? It is that we're in a time of crisis because our children are being raised by media and what they see. I raised 5 girls, and I, my youngest 2 are 13 and 18. And it is that if it is the one thing that you want to teach them, it's not by what you say, but it's what you do. It is your action.
That's right.
Because it is that if it is the first thing that you teach your daughter coming out the womb is that you are worth something. You teach them you are elevating as you grow. You teach them that you are not the person who you're going to be, because we as women will evolve as the cycles change. And when the cycles are changing, we only get better. So what we teach them is that you will meet people. You don't shelter them from the world, because if you do that, they will not be prepared. But you show them. You continually point out, this is what happens. This is how it's going to happen. And we allow them to trust us. And we use that trust to mold and guide them. Because the thing about it, when your daughters don't trust you, they're going to go left. This goes for mother, and this goes for father. Because I grew up with both my parents. And the first man that I ever fell in love with was my brother. And then my father. And then secondly, my brother. Because these were the men that I knew. And everything after that had to compare to them. So fathers need to be that inspiring, that God to your daughters. Because you are going to be the first challenge, the first love, the first everything to them. So when we're teaching our daughters, yes, we have to teach them all the basics of how to be a woman, but we also have to teach them how to use what's inside, to continually elevate and develop. Once we start teaching them that they're sex objects rather than goddess, that creators, nation builders, then that's what they're going to look for. Their first instinct is going to be, their insecurities will be heightened because somebody's going to tell them, you have a big nose, and then they're going to want to change that rather than, as soon as they come out the womb, you are beautiful and perfect. I see God in you. You create that. So no matter what.
But you know what, sis? Sis? Speaking on when you touched about sex, we need to teach them. Really teach them about sex and what it is and the spiritual connections that it has, because sex is now looked at as something strictly for pleasure, and we have to teach them the importance of that and teach them that every man doesn't supposed to have you. You can't lay down with everybody just because she says you're beautiful. We have to teach them the importance of it, because sex is not important anymore. It's, basically it just is sex. It should be making love, but it's just sex now. It's just something to do. It's just a pastime. It has no connection as to where, with our ancestors, it had a spiritual connection as well.
Right, and the thing about, and you are so absolutely right, because I just want to add this to it. One of the things that, and this is just a change in the time, this is what I use to teach my daughters. I use all of my experiences, and I don't lie to them. So one of the things that, we all, you just like you said, once we start talking about sex, we talk about the reality of sex. I teach my daughters about mitochondrial DNA. And that every time a man enters your body, right, there's a chance that you're going to pass on that perfect gene, but you're going to have his, characteristics or DNA. Is that the person you want to procreate with? Every time you think about the person that you're going to mate with, you think about bringing an ancestor onto this planet. Is this the person that you want generations and generations from now on to be a part of your mitochondrial DNA? Is that what you want to lend it to? And then we talk about cleansing the body. Sorry.
It's funny you said that.
I'm getting carried away. I'm sorry.
It's funny you said that, because my aunt used to tell me growing up, if I could not imagine myself spending the rest of my life with that woman, don't sleep with her. And they used to scare the crap out of me.
Yes. And this is what I tell my sons. Because the thing about it is that once it is, right, that we procreate with anyone, that person now becomes a part of your cipher. Metaphysically, spiritually, and physically. They become a part of your cipher. Even if you break up with them 10 years from now and you've had a seed with them, you are still going to be a part of their cipher. We can say whatever the heck we want. She's this, she's that, he's this, he's what. You allowed him into your cipher. And now he or she will be a part of your child's cipher. And when there's a disconnect, who do we blame for that? The thing about it, we've got to teach them to be responsible from the onset. Because every time you look at your seed, you have to consider those are ancestors. And not all ancestors were great.
That's right.
And if it is that we are going to lend powerful genes, we got to consider the retarded ones that are out there too. And when I say retarded, I don't mean the physical. I don't mean in the physical. I mean in the metaphysical. Because when we talk about ancestors, everybody wants to say, oh, all great ancestors, but not all of them are great. And some of them are coming back to hinder our growth. You want to be one of their retarded parents? Because you look at your mate, and once we look at because it's a natural sociological and cultural behavior to look at your partner for procreation. When you first see or meet your partner, you don't be thinking, well, damn, he conscious. Ooh, damn, he got a great mind. I bet you he can go out there. No, women look for providers. They don't know it. It's unconscious because when we were in our indigenous states, we were looking for the strong ones that could go out there and dig things and build things and carry things. And then when men looked at us in our indigenous state, they looked at how wide our hips was, how our lips looked, our facial structure, our breasts, because they wanted to know that we could be good mothers. They wanted to see if you could, if anything happened to your warrior husband, that you could provide for the children that would be left behind. We are no longer in our indigenous state, so therefore we're talking about, we're still doing it. Because when we look at our mates, now we look at the jaw structure, which is their beauty. We look at women's behinds and breasts, not because it's only sexual, but because unconsciously, this is innate. We're looking for a strong woman that can carry children and have breasts that are voluptuous. The reason why we do that, it's inherited. We want to make sure she will be a good mother. We don't know it now because materialism clouds our natural ability. But if that were gone, you're looking for that fine man because you want your sons to be tall.
Exactly, and you want them to be fine and dark skinned. Exactly. That's right.
You know, chocolate. You know, and brothers, what are you looking for? You want to make sure that she can have strong babies.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got a question for y'all right quick. She's leading me right up to it. If the education of the roles are not passed down, how can they be learned? And if you need me to repeat that, I'll do it again for you. If the education of the roles are not learned at home, how can they be passed down?
Oh, that's easy, the elders. But it's got to be the right elder. You can't go to any elder because we still have a lot of elders now who still don't have it together. But whatever you lack.
They like to say that we can find an elder but not an older.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Because the elders are sometimes too stuck in their ways.
Right, and it's like
so you need an elder who has converted from their original ways to their African train of thought now. You need that type of elder. But even still, in a lot of bases, you can still talk to an older about that too. I mean, an older elder can still tell you about being a woman, you know, in the basis of certain things like that, or tell a young man about being a man. But definitely an elder would be a good tool, in my opinion.
You know, and I definitely agree with you. Now, let me say this, okay? Both my parents are very, you know, I grew up in a Christian environment, okay? So, therefore, it was just about that. Daddy provided, mommy did what she had to do. Everything else that I learned it from someone else or through myself. Now, we have to consider in this generation, you guys don't see, I mean, a lot of people don't see it, but the fact is we have given birth to a lot of ancestors. And they are automatically going to go back to the original ways. And how we know this is that they are seeking beyond what their parents are teaching them. We have to be ready because it's all rites of passage. We're going back to the rites of passage that you come out of school, you fail a couple of times in life, in street education, and then you go looking for that thing that you're missing. And a lot of times, it don't have to be an older. It don't have to be an elder. It could be somebody who could spark just that little, curiosity. And then once that curiosity is sparked, because now we can see that a lot of the religion is falling off. And once religion is falling off, people are going to start looking for the indigenous way. And we have to be prepared and ready to lead them through rites of passages. So, what the sister is doing, what you guys are doing, the books and everything that all the speakers, whether or not that I don't agree with every subject that every speaker have, but every speaker has the ability to spark curiosity in all of us, in all our children. So the avenues are broad. We just have to be ready.
Wow.
It will always be each one teach one.
All right. Here's earlier we talked about polygamy and how everybody agreed that it's not for us, and a lot of people can't handle it or whatever. But going back to the one-on-one relationship, man and woman, what's the most important gift an African-centered black woman can receive from an African-centered black man?
Ooh. Okay, so all right.
Yeah, you go first.
The gift that it is that we, as African-centered black women, what we would love to receive would be communication. Communication versus immature action. It is that what it is a lot of our men do, and it's not their fault because it's based on the programming and the inability to deprogram until you find that one queen that can push your button and be like, hey, bring it down 10 notches and let's talk about this sweetly and kindly, right? So it is that without taking away from your masculinity, we just want you to communicate because we are not mind readers.
Yes.
If it is that you found your queen, infidelity is not an issue. Infidelity is a state of mind and a lack of discipline. Because it is that once we have committed to something, we have to have the discipline for the follow-through. So infidelity is only a state of mind and lack of discipline. Every time.
But what you said right there, sis, infidelity, that's my thing. That's the gift that black men can give black women is loyalty. Loyalty is it just almost doesn't exist anymore. And I'm not even talking about on just the basis of physically cheating, but even flirting with the idea of cheating, talking to other women that your wife doesn't know about or your spouse doesn't know about. Like, be loyal, because when the black women, we love so hard, and that if you're loyal to us, we'll give you anything. We'll do anything for you. You keep it real, you take care of home, and you're loyal. That's what every woman wants. No games. You won't have to deal with that. Stems with a lot of the issues that brothers have with their sisters is from infidelity. And so you can't. She went through your stuff or she did this, but you're not being faithful. So if we can be faithful, and if brothers can give us that loyalty that we give them, then that will be a big impact in our female-male relationship. We got to stay loyal. We can't keep having the side chicks and the side dudes. Like, we can't keep doing that. It's just not cool. And it's become cool. We got to kill that.
Okay.
Confirmed.
Based on that, now, here's a question on the flip side. What's the most important gift an African-centered black man can receive from an African-centered black woman?
Support and motivation. We spend too much time beating our brothers all the way down. Society has beat them down enough. They're already broken. And a lot of times, sometimes the brother can't come home and get that peace that he needs. Sometimes I can be that way. We have to give our brothers that support and always build them up and give them that motivation and let them know that they are needed and that we love them and that we support them and that we'll help them no matter what, because we don't give our brothers enough support and we don't build them up enough. Hence why they're looking to other relationships in other races because the sisters just not treating them good. And that's the bottom line. Don't get me wrong, brothers are broken. They have their issues. Okay, they may cheat a little bit or whatever sometimes. But at the end of the day, they're good to us. They are good. You know, nobody's perfect.
Right.
And, you know, brothers, it's harder for them. I understand. In my opinion, I've always understood that it's harder for a brother to be monogamous than it is for a sister because of their nature. But I just think that aside from that, that's a little off topic, but we just need to support our brothers. We don't support them enough. And, you know, even when if he doesn't have a job, don't make him feel worse, queen. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell him, oh, I just see you in the living room again, still ain't doing shit. I just got off work. You could have washed the dishes. Like, don't make him feel bad, queen. Help build him up. Bring him a stack of job applications. That's what I used to do to my ex. I didn't spend a whole bunch of time downing him. Oh, here go 20 job applications for you. Oh, it's a job fair right there. Trying to build him up to let him know, even though that didn't work because he wasn't shit, but I tried to build him up regardless to let him know that I supported him. We got to support our brothers, man, because we just don't. We don't at all.
And again, you know, I'm gonna agree with that, and then I'm gonna add again. You know, when you said it for the brothers, I'm gonna say it for the sisters. Loyalty.
Communication.
That's right.
You know, that loyalty and that communication go hand in hand.
That's
because
right.
Guess what? If it is that they know for sure that if there's nothing else on this planet that's got their back, okay? But it's that woman that stands behind you, your queen, and you can call her that, and nobody else can say that about your queen. They will go to hell and high water to protect and defend her. And that will give him the inspiration to wake up on a daily basis and move mountains for her and his family and the nation. So
and it's those queens that make those type of queens, those type of sisters that ruin a good brother that started off as a really great brother, and then he come across that queen and she wasn't faithful, and then she ruins that brother, and then you ruin him for the next sister. And the same scenario with the brothers, you ruin her for the next brother. We got to be loyal to one another. She's right.
Well, here's the question. It's based on the two questions I just asked. You said you emphasized communication and loyalty. Earlier, we talked about both the black man and the black woman being damaged. How can two damaged people communicate and be loyal?
Oh, wow. I'll tell you how.
I think the first thing, number one, in my opinion, you have to realize that you're damaged. So that's with any type of psychology. If you don't see the problem, then you definitely can't rectify something you don't see. And I think in most cases, people don't see it, understand that this is years of oppression that has made us this way. So if we don't understand that, we definitely cannot fix it. But I think that also comes down in play with the elders, getting counsel. I'm talking about level-headed elders, people, and getting proper counsel and guidance. That can also help us a lot in our relationships. We got elders out here been married 20, 30 years. That's good guidance right there. I think they know something. They're still together. They're still working and moving in African culture and African spirituality. I think that would be a good basis.
Yeah. And then let me just add again. When two broken people come together, there's not a better entity to help heal each other. Let me tell you why. One is that when you've gone through the ringer, all right, and somebody openly, right, recognizes that. The thing about it is we act like we don't recognize that others hurt because of our behavior.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of times, two broken people allow each other to be who they are and go through the grieving process. The one thing that we need to learn how to do is talk things through. The reason
oh, my
why
goodness.
Is that,
thank you. I was going to say this, yes.
We kind of sort of put our behavior or what happened to us on the past on our new relationships, and a lot of times people run from that rather than confront it. Because the fact is, if it is that I have with my king right now, it is that we had to basically talk through, certain things within my life, because I don't regret any of my past relationships. The reason why I don't regret them, because each one of them taught me something about self. because your partner should be your reflection. It should be your
Right.
mirror. Every time we're with someone, we're drawn to them because there is something within them, bad or good, that we recognize. And if it's bad, it means that we need to work on that reflection within ourselves so that we can heal and get past that. While we're doing that, we should be willing to heal the other person as well. Because we have to allow people to hurt and be who they're going to be. And it is that we are also broken, that we don't know when to trust and who to trust. So we go into a relationship saying, you know, I want to be in a relationship, but you don't recognize that you don't even trust yourself to trust that person. And this is because of all the experiences that you had. But if we look at all our past experiences, we analyze them, we look at the part that we play. Accountability is key.
That's right.
Because people may have wronged us, right? A lot of people have wronged us. They have done unspeakable to us. And then the thing about it, you internalize it as, oh, they did me wrong. But what was the part that I played? Because someone can't do to you what you don't allow them to do. But it is that we want to love outside of ourselves more than we love within. The love doesn't radiate from outside within. It goes the other way around. So if it is that you were allowing these circumstances and these situations to happen, that means that that reflection that you saw in that other person was damaging. And you never fixed it. So you fix it while or before you get into a new relation. Because it's about relating. And when you relate, you don't take your past, but you have to know this is what happened. Analyze. Always analyze why something occurred, why it ended, and why it began. What was it about that relationship that attracted me? Why did I stay in it, or why did I leave? So when you are confronted with another damaged and broken person, the first thing that you can do, rather than saying, you always talking about your ex, why are you always comparing me to her? Why is it, don't tell me how good that man was in bed. I don't want to know that. I'm not him. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't do this. Because it is that we may not say it, but we are acting it. It's our reactions to things. It's the way we question a person. It's the untrust. We take that non-trusting, thing that we do from our past, and we bring it into our new relationship without realizing we do it.
But I think the thing is, though, that a lot of this question right here, this question also stems from what we was talking about earlier, and that's expectation. Because if you're still expecting to meet somebody and you're expecting that nothing's going to be wrong. It's like you're expecting there aren't going to be any challenges. And I can promise you, whatever relationship you're in, it's going to be challenges because we all are damaged. So if you lower your expectations, then you can easily deal with a damaged person.
Let me throw this in there. I know a lot of black women who are damaged, we all are damaged to a point, that they create an obstacle course for that man. They say, okay, I'm going to put him through this trial. They create these trials to see what he does, to see if he's trustworthy. What do you say about that?
I just think that's immaturity because, I mean, what is he, a gerbil in a maze? Like, that's just childish. At the end of the day, you deal with a person for what they are, and you see what they are by being with them, by putting them through a whole bunch of different – I know a lot of women that do that. And I just think the games is what turns a lot of brothers off. But we don't want brothers to play games with us, but we play games with them. Like, how is that fair, sis? It's too many games, and I just think that's childish.
Right,
Very.
and we teach each other that game. We actually encourage each other to play that game, and that's one of the things that we as sisters should know. Be truthful with your sister.
That's
Put
right.
her on the spot. A lot of my sisters who call me for advice, who call me for counseling, the one thing that I always do, I don't take sides. I talk about facts because, in every relationship, we want everybody to be sympathetic to us, right? While we are, like you say, sis, playing games. Like you said, putting them through an obstacle course to prove their loyalty. The only thing that creates is more risk. The only thing that creates is a brother who just don't trust y'all. He's going to say, all you women are alike because we have the same end game.
Right, that's right.
You know, I knew you was going to cheat on me because my last, I knew because you didn't call me. Well, you know, you have to consider, well, he didn't text or call you last night because he came home from work and he was tired and he didn't even get his boots off before he fell out on the couch. Had nothing to do with you. You know, and you're right. It is that we have to learn how to be more mature in our approaches to relationships.
Yes.
There is
yes.
no pattern for a relationship that's going to work for you. It has to be, the rules of engagement have to be, first of all, communication. You can't communicate with her or him the way you communicated with your last encounter because they are unrelated. You have to have a common goal. Is this going to be about marriage or the bed? Are we just going to spend time together, hang out as buddies, or are we going to just, you know, you're going to scratch my itch? Because if that's what you're doing, you know, then there's no need for none of this. Let him be broken and you stay broken. But if the end game is marriage, then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to check my pride at the door, check my ego at the door, drop these baggage, and come to you as naked as possible. Until we learn to do that, we're forever going to be jumping from bed to bed, man to man, relationship to relationship, and then we're going to end up, you know, in a place where we're going to all be saying, ain't no good men or women out there because we've used all our little chips that, you know how you play the video games and they give you a new life? Once you've gone through all of those lives, you don't see purpose in it.
That's right.
Okay.
You know,
well, let me jump in with this question. This is similar to the question I asked earlier about the gifts an African-centered man could give to the woman and the woman give to the man. To those single mothers out there, and we talked about this aspect earlier that single woman can't really fulfill the role of the man. But in a single-parent household where the woman is running the household, what's the most important gift an African-centered black woman can provide her children?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. I think, you think, well, we're speaking only from a single-parent household, right?
Right.
Then the most important thing that she can give her children is a good, strong male role model. They need that because that's something that I didn't have. And my father left us when I was 10, and so he was pretty much non-existent from that point. So if I had that strong, solid male role model, I probably wouldn't have had a baby at 16. I probably wouldn't have dropped out of school. There's things that I wouldn't have done, I feel, that if I had not only my mother, but also that male role model, especially when it comes to relationships with women and little girls. They need that. They need that male figure in their lives to show them what it is that a man is and isn't supposed to do. Because when we don't have that, all you have is your mother's point of view of what it is that a man should or shouldn't do. And a lot of times that might not always be accurate because that's based off her life experiences. So I feel like that's really very important, is that children need a male role model, be it an uncle or an older cousin, a nephew. They need somebody who is going to play that role because they need that masculine and feminine balance in order to grow up and be productive. They really do. And that doesn't matter, they won't eventually be productive, but that helps you to stay more on course. Like I'm very confident that if I had that, I would have definitely did a lot of things better as I was coming up.
And I definitely agree with that. And let me tell you, you know, because you hit that right on the head, sister. I think, you know, I'll be talking to you too much. You just got too much of me in you. Listen, you know, one of the things that I can say is that is fact. I raised 5 daughters, right? Because my ex was deported when I was pregnant with my last child for him, right? Now, one of the things that I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. I had my sisters, like, you know, with my cousin, I extended family and stuff like that. But my brothers, my cousins, and my dad was the most important thing that I had in my life because my daughters learned about chivalry from my brother, my oldest brother.
That's right.
As I was growing up, my older brother would always protect me no matter what. The boys couldn't just come up and just talk to me. And he taught them. I remember, like, we don't celebrate holidays or anything like that, but I remember he used to do this thing, which I would kind of let that go. He would take them out for Valentine's Day, and he would get them pampered, and he would say, if a man cannot treat you like that, he's not worth having. It is that you're not supposed to be bought, but you're supposed to be able to relax and not think anything, other than I am a queen. He taught them how to be responsible women. He taught them what to look for in a partner and what not to happen. Abuse, neglect, and all of these things. He taught them. And he also put them up on game. Because brothers need to be able to talk to sisters about what other brothers are going to tell you, how they're going to approach you, and how you should react. My brother put them up on game. And then I had my baby brother who nurtured them, and you fell down and you brushed off your little, whatever. And then the boys had strong men to look up to. Like, they would look at my cousin and be like, yeah, I wanna have a family, I want to own a house, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. Because that's what they saw. I avoided having them around family members of theirs that was only into the thug life. Because I had to be able to show them something in real, not on TV, but something that everyday people were doing that would benefit them. And that's exactly what we need today within the single parent household. We need to have balance, whether it be, the sisterhood coming in and showing the daughters how to take care of themselves and how to teach them to be secure within themselves if the dad is only raising them. And brothers, you don't have to be in a relationship with that sister to be taking her son out and, listen, this is how rites of passage. Learn how to change the oil. Learn how to change a tire, how to change a light bulb. Because a lot of black men are growing up and they're not handymen. All black men should be handymen. All black men should know how to defend his queen. And if it is that you're not in a relationship with this sister, it's okay, because what you have contributed is going to change the dynamics of how young men are being raised and how they come up, and how, because they're going to end up being your husbands to your daughters.
Okay. We appreciate those answers. Sister A'liyma, are you still nervous?
No, I think that was like the first minute.
Okay. Sister Carla, we appreciate you calling in and providing your feedback to help Sister A'liyma with her nervousness. And to take
my baby sister. You definitely did, though, because when you came, I definitely was myself once I heard your voice. So that is true.
Yeah, because that's how she does me. That's why I say that's mini-me, man.
Yeah, I was like a babbling fucking drunk at the beginning. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting my language. My bad, family.
Before we wrap up, talk about your poetry book that's coming out. Let everybody know what's up and when it'll be available and how can they get a hold of it.
I don't have the release date as of yet, but it should be within the next couple of weeks. But I can update them that on social media. But my poetry novel is called Perceptions of a Misplaced African. This is volume 1 because I'm going to do Perceptions. And then I'm going to do Reflections and Inception, which Inception probably should have been first, but that's okay. So I'm going to do 3 volumes, but this is the first one. And it's basically my perspective, various topics, basically about African people. There's topics that women can relate to, topics for young children that they can relate to, sex, spirituality, just a little bit of everything, just a little introduction of me. And that will be available soon. And like I said, once I get the information, I will update it for everyone via social media.
Awesome. Okay. And also, for everybody who doesn't know, our sister and our brother are going to formally be married very soon. They're going home. And I'm proud of you two. And you two are a model couple and model individuals for the community, because we need more of this. We need the imagery of black love as black power. That's one of the name of our pages, and we promote this, in the community. The only person that has the black man's back is the black woman. The only person that's going to have the black woman's back is the black woman. We have no friends.
I say.
No, outside of that, we don't have any friends. So we need to lift them up, and they need to lift us up, and that's just the bottom line. And and I love both of y'all, and I hope to see y'all soon.
Love you too,
I know our brother's Ben. I know our brother's up in the air right now. I hope he
he'll be
lands
home
safely.
soon.
He'll be home soon. Talked to him earlier. Yeah, I hope he's listening. If he can, he might be on a plane with some Wi-Fi. So. But definitely major shout out to you two. Really doing it big. I appreciate our elders going to be there.
I appreciate y'all having me on. I had a great time. It's been wonderful.
Always. I hope we can have you on again. And just for everybody to know again, Raising Awareness Group is having an awesome event August 27th from 1 to 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn, South Philly. Just come on out. We're going to be honoring the elders. Principles of Maat in the Afrikan Community. We're going to have A'liyma Njie, University of Kemet Press, and our Grand Saber and Ferdishi's going to be there. And that's it. Brother Fred, you got anything?
No, I'm good. It was a great show, and I took a lot of notes.
Yes, we did. There's a lot of information to digest. But thank you, sister, and thank both of you sisters for coming on. Awesome. I appreciate it.
No problem, brothers.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're live every week. Next week, we're going to be talking about Black economics in our community. Other than that, that's it. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Hotel.